Charity Gardens. Now this is the third and final segment of today's shows, and in the previous segment we were talking about water. So this is basically just a continuation of water and uses of, we all know the uses of water, and one thing that people keep forgetting is that water is very essential in our bodies. Sometimes people don't know if this water is supposed to be taken, as in, are there specific times you're supposed to take water in a day, or you can just take a liter? Because I was doing research the other day and I read somewhere that when you take water, when you take too much water in one sitting, the faster you will empty it. So I think people are supposed to take water in different sessions, right?
Yes. Well, the issue of taking water, you may not have actually a specific time, but we are always told frequent taking water. But mostly it's always advised to take water after meals. And I would also insist that let's not just take water. Let's ensure we are taking purified water. Because we may take as much water as we can, and if we don't take purified water, we will just be drawing a circle whereby yes, your body is rehydrated, but also you are subjecting yourselves to different ailments, and especially the waterborne diseases. So it's good I emphasized, let's take purified water. And purified water is not necessarily that water that you will go to purchase, but we all know a simple purification of water. Boil water before you drink it. Make sure the water you are taking is boiled, and I'll emphasize on that. Basically, water is very important in our bodies in that it helps in rehydration and basically the proper working of the body. All organs in the body needs water. Also, we know that productivity of our body. Water helps us in productivity, because you remember even that times when you are doing some work and you feel thirsty, basically that thirst makes you, when you lose concentration. So basically water also boosts the concentration of your body. Also, let's also consider the renal functioning. Our kidneys, when taking plenty of water enhances the renal functioning. Basically, the renal functioning, we are talking about the proper kidney functioning. We all know that the function of the kidneys is purifying the blood, and with frequent taking of water, it enhances its functioning. And this also ensures that our bodies, the blood is well purified. So let's take plenty of water. Also, it's a detox in our body. The more we take more water, the more our body is cleansed. Actually, water is the best natural detoxing agent. So you take much water and our bodies will remain well detoxified. Then I would also say water prevents constipation. Constipation, we know that it's basically it enhances digestion. And before you get to constipation, take much water, and this water will help the body during the digestion. And this helps even when taking out stool. It's a normal stool, and unlike if you don't take water, that's when we have conditions like constipation, and we all know constipation is not something we can always be happy about. So let's take as much water as we can. We're always told to take 8 glasses in a day, and it's very essential for us to stick to that. Also, water helps the body even in immunity, and that is normally why you find even when you have colds, people are encouraged to take much fluids, and much fluids, water is always given the priority. And I believe it's very essential. From that, we should embrace the culture of taking water. Even when you go to parties and everywhere, let's not go for the soft drinks. I advise us, let's give water the priority. Yes. Then, in context, we are still on physical health. We'd also discuss about staying drugs-free. The topic for drugs is very wide, and we all know that drugs are categorized. We have the drugs of abuse, and we also have the human drugs. These two categories, I would say drugs of abuse, those are already abused. And the human drugs currently have been used, misused, and abused. And our bodies, we all know that drugs are chemicals, and that's why even the body that regulates drugs is called the Pharmacy and Poisons Board, because drugs are poisons. They are toxic chemicals. Whether beneficial or harmful drugs, drugs are chemicals, and they are subjected to a complex metabolism by the liver. And when we get used to these drugs, let me discuss the drugs of abuse. The drug that is abused mostly is the common ones is the alcohol and tobacco. You know, even when you take a drug, it goes the same process the food goes. Only that for drugs, they have a complex metabolism because these are chemicals. So too much of these drugs, they wear out the body tissues, especially the liver, and that's why you find most people who take alcohol, and especially the so-called the second generation, they just die abrupt. And mostly this occurs because the liver has failed to function because it has been overworked. So the drugs we're talking about mostly is the heroin, cocaine, alcohol, tobacco. For good health, people should shun away from these drugs. Then the other consequence of drug use is we all know that drugs lead to immorality. Immoralities lead to those vices in the society, the spread of the sexually transmitted infections, the HIV. We also have those other STIs that are there in the society. So it's for us to educate the society against the use of drugs. Come to the human drugs. The human drugs have been used, misused, and abused. Yes, drugs are there to treat and cure diseases, but we are living in a society whereby people no longer care about the drugs they are taking. People don't even want to let their body's immunity at times to work. Any small ailment, you just go on drugs. Or even for complex diseases, people don't want to use the right drug for the right indication. We are so used to going to pharmacies, buying drugs over the counter, and I've not said that is bad, but it all depends with what drugs you are going to use. We've also seen these drugs like memory boosters. Your body is normal. Why should someone use memory boosters to boost your memory? Why? You are allowing your body to be dependent on memory boosters at the expense of your normal well-being. We also have the sexual stimulant drugs. These are drugs being used even by very young people in their teens and 20s. And by the time someone gets to that level of settling down with a family, that's why you're finding even cases like erectile dysfunction. It is being experienced from very, very young ages, simply because people used, misused, and abused these drugs when they were at a tender age. And there comes a time now when there are consequences for that. So human drugs have been abused in that people don't want to follow the right procedures. People would use prescriptions that are not theirs. They use drugs that they are not supposed to use. So the issue of staying free, our bodies will not be healthy if we subject our bodies to drugs. Both the beneficial drugs and also the drugs of abuse.
Mm-hmm. I want to take you back to, you've just said that sometimes even for the small ailments, we rush to take drugs. There are people who have a problem of having headaches, continuous headaches. Sometimes if they fail to take breakfast in the morning but particularly tea, There are those who say that if they do not take tea in the morning, they end up having a headache, they end up not concentrating at work. So what would you advise somebody who gets these frequent headaches, and maybe they feel that taking that pill, that headaches or that Panadol will relieve the pain faster than taking a glass of water? What advice would you give them?
Normally, there's something in drug consumption that we says the benefit should outweigh the risk. But when you find you're in a situation whereby the risk outweighs the benefit, you ought to go for a plan B. I've heard about those cases of those people who say, if I don't take this will happen. Now that one already tells us that that product, assume it's something like tea leaves. Tea leaves have a bit of caffeine in it, and you all know caffeine is a drug by itself and it's addictive. I would advise someone, if you're in such a situation, please get a medical opinion. Because yes, Panadol that is paracetamol is a drug that is always readily available. But what happens is that the toxicity in paracetamol is very high. So you would take that drug and you will be well. But what is happening to your liver that you don't know? And you know, the majority of these risks are not things that we can see. Risks are drug response that takes some time. But when now the risks come out in an ailment is when you realize it has been happening gradually. So I would urge those people who have those conditions, and we normally say that there is no disease like a headache, there is no disease like a pain. Pain is a symptom of a certain condition. Pain is a symptom of a certain condition. So the moment you treat pain and you don't go deeper to the cause, you're just doing a temporary thing. The way you can just do something, a repair, but you've not dug into what is destroying, what is leading to that destruction. So it is very, very important for someone, if you're in such a state, and those are the addictions that come in without people knowing in the products they are consuming. There are still other products which have those chemicals that would lead to addiction. And when someone realizes that, it's very important to withdraw and know how to take care of themselves.
Mm-hmm. Taking you back to the point on constipation, sometimes people believe that there are some certain foods that lead you to constipate. Like when kids are growing up, I remember during my time we used to be told that if you take pawpaws, you're going to constipate. Are there foods that make you constipate and those that don't make you constipate, or basically the point is just taking enough water?
Well, most of these foods, quotes in the society are just myths. Though we cannot still overrule some of these things, because I know if you take those dry foods like sweet potatoes or foods like yams, such dry foods, and you don't take fluids, constipation will always arise. Then also we normally say that different bodies respond differently on different foods. So the bottom line here that can bring all of us to an equilibrium is just take plenty of water. Plenty of water will sort all those cases. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then again, the issue of, as you raised, the issue of children. Children respond more differently even than adults. So for children, the way they would respond, like you said, because personally I've also had the issue of pawpaws. But it's always good to be cautious. Mm-hmm. So bottom line, people should take as much water as possible.
Thank you so much, Mr. James Murugu. That was Mr. James Murugu Njau, who is a registered pharmaceutical technologist, or in other words, PharmTech. Now that brings us to the final segment of the Wholly Healthy Show. I was your host, Charity Gordons, and as we have been advised, take plenty of water. Do not just concentrate on one category of food. Do not just eat proteins. Do not just eat carbohydrates. Try and keep away from junk food so that you can have good health, have enough sleep, and also keep exercising your body. And by exercising, it does not mean that you have to keep on going to the gym or doing press-ups. No, exercise is as simple as walking. I was your host, Charity Gordons. See you next week, same place, same time, same show, different topic. Bye-bye.